Our world is growing, so we must make it a point to preserve it. Perspective and attention are big reasons why the cause lacks support. The inhabitants of the city suppose that the country landscape is pleasant only half the year. To the attentive eye, each moment of the year has its own beauty. And in the same field it beholds, every hour, a picture which was never seen before and which shall never be seen again. You see, I love not man the less, but nature more. And I think it's only natural there will be more of us. But as more people come, we must change. We will fight fire with ice.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into the video.
I see a world where we're all able to give back, to fix the problem of climate change before it's too late, to create a more sustainable future that we can all enjoy. We've already noticed the effects. Wildfires, hurricanes, extreme flooding. But for now, let's shy away from the immediate disasters and look a little closer at another kind of disaster. Where's all the snow going? I'll be using studies from various valuable sources as well as points made during an interview with the West Mountain CEO, Spencer Montgomery, and Head of Operations, Sarah Montgomery. The goal of this video essay is to answer the question, what is the impact of climate change on the ski industry, and how successful are they in the finding of mitigation strategies and solutions? To gain some perspective on the matter first, I'll dive into studies done by Daniel Scott, a professor at the University of Waterloo, University Research Chair and Director, and Master of the Climate Change Program. His current research program focuses on the human dimensions of global environmental change, climate and society, and sustainable tourism. In the journal Future Climate Change Risk in the U.S. Midwestern Ski Industry, Scott highlights a couple things. Just how important snowmaking is for climate change adaptation, how high-emission futures will reduce the mid-century ski season by at least 25%, and how past studies that omit snowmaking overestimate ski industry climate risk. Climate change is an evolving business reality in the ski industry. Projections for reduction in the ski season length in low-emission scenarios range from 25% to 29% under moderate emission scenarios, and 38% for high-emission scenarios. When I spoke with a representative from West Mountain, Sarah Montgomery, she made a statement that ski areas can no longer rely on natural snow. She continued with, snowmaking is a critical part of the ski operations puzzle. We have to monitor weather hourly for optimum windows of snowmaking weather. We struggle with elevation, so we have to make the most of every snowmaking opportunity. Our outdoor operations team is well known for their snowmaking. Their goal is to make a thick base on every trail that can withstand rain and mild temps so that we can have great snow conditions all season. Snowmaking is already a crucial part of ski resort success. So in this, the ski industry has been successful in mitigating catastrophe with the introduction of snowmaking machines. To bring up another point regarding the changes that snowmaking has made, industry leaders are understandably very critical of studies that omit snowmaking as a climate change risk management strategy, correctly arguing that such climate risk assessments do not accurately represent current operational realities, let alone future potential adaptive capacity. For example, early studies projected mid-century season length losses would be 100% in Ontario and 87 to 100% in Quebec. But now, with studies that include snowmaking, projected losses of only 15 to 46% and 15 to 39% are recorded in the respective areas. To speak more on regional differences between resorts, I'll be discussing another two studies. One by Mark Pons called The Vulnerability of Pyrenean Ski Resorts to Climate-Induced Changes in the Snowpack, which outlines the vulnerability of Pyrenean ski resorts as well as exhibits detailed climate change vulnerability assessments on ski resorts in the Pyrenean region. The second is a study done by Catherine Marina Pickering called Climate Response by the Ski Industry, The shortcomings of snowmaking for Australian resorts, which covers mountains in the Australian Alps, outlining how lower altitude mountains in Australia are at an even greater risk and will have to implement even more mitigation strategies if they want to stay afloat. The area of study for ponds is a 450-kilometer long mountain range comprising the northern part of Spain, the southern part of France, and Andorra. What makes this set of research so valuable is that it takes data from altitude ranges of 300 meters to over 3,000 meters. Additionally, there is a considerable variability in distribution of precipitation and temperature. This region encompasses 49 alpine ski resorts and boasts approximately 11 million skiers a year. This model projects that the snowpack in the Pyrenees will be strongly affected by projected climate change, with a marked decrease in snow depth and duration of the snowpack. Figure A2 and B2 are two scenarios determined by a greenhouse gas emissions scenario called SRES. A2 is the worst case scenario, meaning high emission rates, and thus the projections are twice as pronounced. Models and information like what I have just given have an impact on stakeholders' awareness of the situation, which can lead to change in the right direction. If things stay the same or, God forbid, get worse, we might be looking at projections like these. This is the same map as before. The top is the plus 2 degrees Celsius situation, and the other is a projection of the plus 4 degrees situation. Skiing in Australia is limited to the Australian Alps and a small area in Tasmania. There are 10 main resorts currently operating in the Australian Alps, ranging from 1,520 to 2,054 meters in altitude. The ski season extends between two holidays lasting 113 to 120 days, but the actual season is much shorter. Because Australia's resorts are at a much lower altitude, they receive much less snow. And even with snowmaking, the mean maximum snow depth is less than 1.5 meters at any of these resorts. Projections show that only 7 of these resorts are going to be able to retain more than 70 days or more of snow coverage per year. 2 are expected to retain 60 to 70 days, and the remaining 11 are expected to get less than 60 days of snow coverage per year. While snowblowing is a viable solution for the time being, it requires much investment, and that much will only increase going forward. However, that being said, snowblowing has significantly skewed the data in the favor of the ski industry. As I learned from West Mountain, as well as from studies into Pyrenean mountains and Australian mountains, elevation is a huge part to play in the vulnerability of ski resorts. However, this doesn't mean that just because mountains like Aspen and the like have nothing to worry about. Not only will they be greatly affected down the road if the trend continues, but as little mountains fall across the nation and across the globe, the culture will dwindle, hurting their business in the short term as well. Therefore, mountains like Aspen and Whistler, Canada, have been investing time and money into action such as things from self-sustainability practices to legal battles. One question I asked representatives at West Mountain was, how do you gauge a season's success? Their response was, we gauge it by skier visits and number of days we are open for operations. Every year our goal is to meet 100,000 skier visits and 100 days of being open. This makes sense, but unfortunately, even under low emission scenarios, northeast areas in the United States will suffer from climate change. Mountains like Sugarloaf may not be able to stay open for that 100-day period, which is the estimated amount of time for a resort to be economically viable. Reports in Managing for Climate Change in the Alpine Ski Sector estimate that major changes will likely occur between now and 2039. While a 7-degree change would decimate mountains such as Aspen, leaving only a small reserve of snow on the top quarter of its mountain, resorts like Park City would lose all of its snow, leaving little to none for any other mountain. Things seem dire, and that is because they are, but it's not the end. Aspen and Whistler started something big, a trend that every other mountain will have to jump on. And I believe with that much influence, there will be a significant amount of change. Hope is not lost. We just need to take a minute and appreciate all that we have so that we don't let it slip away. I've always been taught to value nature because we could not, would not exist without it. The beauty it presents is a sight to behold. And if we don't want to lose all that we have, this world that predates us, we must learn how to protect it. Let's act so we can maintain nature's beauty for the next generations.